My name is Ryan Devlin. 5'7". Right now I'm weighing about 197 pounds. Looking to compete in April for the Flint Mid Michigan. Hoping to shoot for top of the middleweight class. Coming to aim in at about 176. Hopefully, we'll see. Got about 6 weeks. So that's my goal.
What was your last show about again?
My last show was about 4 years ago. It was out in Rochester. For that one, I ended up at the top of the middleweight, not really where I wanted to be. But for my first show, it was decent. I actually did novice. I placed 5th out of 9. So for my first show, that was good for me. You know, came home with a trophy, and I was satisfied, but definitely wanted to do more, do better, do another one. Just shoot to do better, honestly.
So you were only, what, 22 then?
Yeah, I was 22 at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And first show ever, right?
Right. Yeah. First time competing, being serious about everything, and it was my first real experience with even a diet. So it was a total new experience for me.
Okay, but today you trained back and a little bit of arms, but go ahead and take us through your workout and the movements and what you like about it.
Yep. So came out, trained back and arms out here at Prison City Physique in Jackson, Michigan. It's a great gym. Able to use a lot of hammer strength. Started out with cables, just a close grip, pull down. I like to start with that movement because it helps me just kind of get the blood flow into the lats a little bit, and I like to focus on the tension and the squeeze with it. After that, moved over to a hammer strength low row. I go a little bit heavy with that, but I really, again, just today tried to focus on the squeeze and the tension. I don't tend to go too heavy on a lot of my lifts. I really like to focus on the actual movement itself and moving the weight. From there, we did a few sets of that, and then I went and did some rack pulls, a little bit above the kneecap. Probably not as low as I usually go with the rack pulls, but tweaking my back a couple weeks ago, it does allow me to at least get a feeling in my middle back, which I like. I don't tend to focus on deadlifts too much because of lower back pain, but the rack pulls definitely help. From there, went over and did some dumbbell rows. Went up to 100s, nothing too heavy, but again, I just really like to focus on the movement today. Got a nice sweat with that, did about 3 sets of that. From the rows there, went over and did some more cable work, really focus on the lat and the squeeze at the bottom of it. I like doing that towards the end, just helps a lot with getting the blood back into the lower lats. After that, touched up on arms a little bit, just did a little bit of tricep, a little bit of bicep, just to kind of get a pump in there. I tend to do that about every other day. I'll have a separate arm day, but I just like to get the blood into the arms a little bit after certain workouts. I feel it's always helped me, as arms have always been kind of a weak point for me. But that was pretty much the gist of it. Just really tried to focus on the tension and squeeze and the movement today. So.
How many weeks out did you start for this one, bud?
Technically to be completely technical, 12. I switched to prep coach at about 12 weeks, working now with Christian Coronado, former animal nutrition, universal guy, smart nutritionist, bodybuilder, powerlifter, all aspects. I've worked with him before for my first show. I liked how he did everything, so I came back to him. Besides him, I also worked with Matt Porter for about 6 weeks a couple years ago. Ended up not being able to do that show due to school and my son being born and everything. So I've worked with a couple different people, but I liked Christian's aspect and approach to everything, so I went back and worked with him for this one. So.
I gotcha. Go ahead and tell us what your dieting has been like for this show as opposed to like your last one, bud.
Well, I mean, the past couple of weeks with being sick and tweaking my back, it hasn't been the best. It's kind of been shit, but I do what I can. Starting to feel better compared to my last show. My last show was more so on the keto end, not entirely, but but he really focused Christian focused my carbs around my workout. Had me on higher fats outside of the workouts with fish and salads, making sure that my greens were getting in place. This right now, diet at 6 weeks out, we're doing carbs when I wake up. So we'll do like an oat kind of meal with eggs, egg whites. And then I'll focus on carbs after the workout as well. And then 2 meals after that. So typically it's basically just complex carbs before a workout, fast acting for a couple meals after that. And then focus on fats before bed with higher protein. Just kind of cut the carbs out for the last 2 meals of my meal plan. So again, it's more so focusing on carbs around the workout, but we're doing carbs a little bit higher than what I remember in my past show. So,
okay. What's cardio like now, bud?
Right now, after being sick, I've been trying to do at least I've had to split my sessions into 2 interval sessions. So I've been doing HIIT 20 minutes after a lift, and either 20 minutes first thing in the morning or 20 minutes before bed. But typically we are aiming for 45 minutes post cardio or post workout for cardio. But just because of my breathing and being sick, getting over that, I've had to shorten my actual time spans just to kind of help with my breathing. But we'll get back to it with the 45 minutes and see where that'll lead me.
Yeah, because currently you have bronchitis too, right?
Yeah. I was just diagnosed with bronchitis on Friday, so I'm on prednisone and azithromycin right now, and today's my last day of the azithromycin medication, and then I've got about 5 more days of the prednisone, and hopefully by the time Arnold Classic this weekend rolls around, I'll be done with that.
Yeah, be careful down there, man.
Yeah.
So
and I'm just, if I come back sick from that, I mean, game over.
So many people who go to the Arnold, they come back with the flu.
I know, and and that's the between staying in a hotel and all the people at the expo and just the weather being the way that it's supposed to be, going from 37 on Friday up to the 50s in the weekend from what it forecasts. I mean, everything just mixing together. I'm shit out of luck if I get sick again. So I think that's where I call it quits and I pick a different show. But no, I'm aiming for 6 weeks from now, and hopefully everything after this goes well. Once my son stops being sick and I get over being sick, and hopefully,
he's sick too.
He just went to the ER 2 nights ago. He's got the flu and he's got influenza and bronchitis as well. So we're working with him, trying to keep him comfortable, and hopefully it just doesn't keep going back and forth.
Yeah.
But hoping for the best. So.
Awesome, man. Well, one more question, Rick. So how did you get into the industry? What drove you into bodybuilding?
Oh man.
How was it?
When I got out of high school, I was one of the few of my friends that went to college. A lot of them went to the military. 1 or 2, ended up in jail. So I had to make a couple new friends. Went through a different stage where I just, I started working out at Jeff Willett's Powerhouse Gym in Adrian, where I'm from. And that's really where I kind of fell in love with it. I just, I started lifting and it became like my hobby. When I started actually seeing results after a few years, it was really when I was like, wow, this is something that I could actually have fun with. I've never really, since even I turned 21, I've never been the guy that has a lot of friends that goes out every weekend or, does really anything with his time other than, go to the gym. So I have my few friends that, go to the gym, and, it's pretty much I work, I take care of my boy, and I go to the gym, and that's what really got me into it. It was really just seeing the changes, because bettering yourself is probably one of the most prideful things that you can do in life, and that's really what I got serious with. It was just seeing how much better I could be from working out in time and bettering myself and my body. So that's really where I fell in love with it. And then I took it to competing, and the diet was hard. It was hard as hell, but especially doing it for the first time that I did it a few years ago. But it just made me hungry. I just wanted to do it again and see where I could actually go with it. And I'll keep at it regardless. Give me 4 or 5 years. It's not a race. So still young. I'm only 26, and Give me some years, and I think one day, if I ever was able to, I'd love to compete in the 212 division. I love the 212 division more than open. I just think that the body composition and the physiques that a lot of those guys have is attainable, but very very easy to the eye. They're not too big, they're not too small. I really like the physiques of the 212, and I think at my height and my build, I would love to one day do that. So that that's pretty much the gist of where everything was for me.
Okay, bud. So go ahead and tell us about, a little bit about what you do for your career and how your fitness and like staying in shape and stuff like that plays into helping with that.
Well, I have a bachelor's degree in criminal justice. I currently work at Jackson County Sheriff Department. I'm a deputy there, and I work inside the jails. I love my job. It's my career. Fitness and being in the gym is a hobby. It's a very important hobby to me, and it comes in handy in my job. Not only does it come in handy staying fit, being able to do a lot of the things that I need to for my job. I'll see a couple of guys in the jail. We'll share some laughs about that they know me, they've seen me in the gym, yada yada, and that's cool. It's a lot more than just corrections. Is honestly a lot more than brute force, and I think a lot of people don't really understand that. And we're not always glorified babysitters. Sometimes if I can catch a guy in a gym that I've seen from the jail, and we can shoot the shit real quick, and if I can say something or do something in a small conversation in an office in my barracks that makes that guy do one thing to change his life, cool. That makes my job that much better. Just knowing that me talking to someone or knowing someone in a way other than you have to go to isolation is prideful for me.
I think so, at least I would envision like some of the guys kind of respect that. I think you do that in your bodybuilder.
Exactly. A lot of people they'll crack jokes about me, and I got a coworker who's a little bit bigger than I am, and they'll crack jokes about us lifting and being big and whatever, and but it's all for fun and games, not a big deal, and they know that where the line is drawn, because we don't take shit, so they know. Not that we're the biggest, baddest people. That's not our mindset, but it's kind of like a line of respect. They know not to mess with us because there is a line that they'll cross, and we won't settle for it. So.
Yeah. And you guys on the same boat are probably pretty mellow and cool.
Exactly. And that's the thing is knowing your inmates and letting them know you to an extent, to where they know where that line is.
It's not like in the movies like Shawshank.
No, not at all. And I think that's where a lot of people get a wrong idea about corrections is, it's not a friendship with these guys, but it's not all about punishment. It's rehabilitative, and a lot of these guys that are in these local jails are simple drug mess ups. A lot of them aren't even criminals. They're just people who haven't child support, alimony, any kind of thing that, there's a guy in here right now that I know from this gym who's in on alimony because of a mess up with the court. And he's in there for a couple months, and, he's not a bad guy. He had an issue with the court system and his payments, So, if there's anything that I can take from fitness, being in the gym, and people relations, it works great for my job,
Well, that's very cool, man. Well, good luck with the last 6 weeks. I hope everything goes well. We'll probably see you at the show, and stay healthy if you can, man.
Yeah.
Seriously.
I'm going to try. That's the best I can do.